Perfect. We're live now. So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's session. I'm Mituna Murugesh, the RIBA Business Development Manager for the Gulf. Today's session is the last session of the RIBA and Geberit seminar series, which has been running for the last 2 years now. So, welcome to you all. Thank you for joining us today. Let's jump straight into the session. Today's session is focused on creating the ideal washroom environment. We will be following the same format as always. So, please send in any questions regarding today's presentation in the chat bar alongside at any point of time, and our speaker will attend to them in the last 15 minutes. So to begin, I'd like to introduce you all to Louise Pitt, the Marketing and CRM Manager at Geberit. Over to you, Louise.
Good morning, everybody. Today we're coming to you from the Geberit Information Centre in the Gulf Regional Headquarters, Dubai. Geberit has had a presence in the region for the last 25 years, with offices here since 2005. Based in Dubai Design District, you're welcome to contact us at any time to arrange a visit if you would like to see and learn more about our product ranges. Thank you, Mituna, for the introduction. As she said, my name is Louise. I'm the marketing manager here for the region. And now I'd like to introduce you to our speaker for today, Remo Hirschi. Remo is a Swiss national who started his professional career back in 1996. He has a background in plumbing technology and holds a Bachelor of Science in HVAC engineering. It's now almost 8 years since he joined Geberit, a Swiss headquartered multinational, and since then he's travelled to more than 15 countries working for Geberit within the MENA region. In 2019, he relocated to the United Arab Emirates and he joined the team here as our product manager and heads up also the technical sales support teams for the region. So with that welcome, I'd like to hand over now, please, to Remo.
Thank you everyone for the introduction and for having us for this opportunity here. My name is Remo. Welcome for this CPD session. I just realized in the introduction that it's already 2 years that we are holding this CPD series and it's coming to an end. So I'm really glad that we could participate. Hopefully it was interesting and the last session will be interesting as well. And big thanks to Mituna and Aldrin for having us. So I'm going to share my screen and the presentation of today. Anyway, so the topic of the day is creating the ideal washroom environment. The agenda, as always, a quick introduction to Geberit, and then we are talking about touchless, water saving, certification, and green building. And obviously we're talking about bathroom products, as always, when we are talking about Geberit. So who we are, I'm just going to start with our company movie from 2020. I'm sure very soon we will release out a 2021 version of it. But for now, I think it's a very good clip. Actually, also it won certain awards in the meantime. And it's a good introduction to our company.
Oh my god, das genau.
And what about the pipes?
Huh?
was ist mit Schule? Und was ist mit... Und was ist mit... Und was ist mit...
Fertig.
Fertig?
So as you could see, Geberit provides not only products, it's also about providing the complete solution, and people, as we can see, are an important asset for our company. So we are European market leader in sanitary products manufacturing with a global presence. We have powerful brands that are Geberit, Twyford, and Co. And we have a successful business model, which is push-pull principle. So in terms of push, we have a 3-stage distribution model, and in terms of pull, we have a lot of technical advisors in the market who provide any kind of solutions around our products and solution to the different stakeholders. To give you some figures, we are around 3 billion of net sales in Swiss francs, and we are, as mentioned, in 50 countries with our proper sales organizations. We are around 12,000 employees nowadays, and our 29 production sites are mainly very closely located around our key markets, which are in Central Europe. In terms of the entire product range, we have 3 product areas, which are installation and flushing systems, piping systems, and bathroom systems. And you see the different product families, so in total 9 product families. We are definitely very much known for the installation and flushing systems, for the concealed systems and the actuator plates, and but also we have the entire solution behind the wall as well as in front of the wall. Here it's a quick practical case how this looks like. So if we think on the brickwork stage, we have everything for the vertical supply and also discharge of the bathroom. So this starts with the installation. So here we have HDP and silent DB material and different systems as well for supply of hot and cold water. And then when it comes to the installation systems, you can see here there is everything required behind the wall, from the famous concealed system to shower solutions, tap systems, and urinals, and everything is combined in a complete installation system, which has several benefits in terms of reliability in planning, acoustic benefits in terms of fire protection, and basically it meets all the required standards. And it's also very much time saving in terms of installation. If you think on the coordination, such an installation system comes out of one hand, so the plumber is providing here a lot of what is required, so the coordination is also reduced. It will be horizontally connected to the drainage system, to the supply systems within the installation units, and then obviously the covering to, after everything is tested and water tests are done, etc., the covering will be done, and then finally the final products will be installed after the tiling. As you can see here, then the urinal, the WC, the wash place, and the shower. So from behind the wall into in front of the wall. Behind the wall, we talk about know-how installed, so it's all about the products and the service. And in front of the wall, in Geberit, we talk about design meets function. To summarize what we do, so we have the product range to manage the water flow, and our key aim is to bring value for the buildings and for the users. So in terms of saving space, the acoustics, there shouldn't be any leakages. Of course, sustainability is a very important topic, not only from an operational perspective, but also from then the use of the building. You can build faster, more efficient, and it's built to last when you utilize Geberit products. So what does it really mean when we talk about creating the ideal washroom? So first of all, if you think on the different type of bathrooms, so then definitely there are the public, semi-public, and residential bathrooms, which come along with different requirements and different needs. I think today we'll be a little bit more focused on the public and semi-public bathroom space, where definitely hygiene is an important topic. So products should be easy to clean. The bacteria and dirt shouldn't be able to spread too much on the surfaces. So we talk about self-cleaning surface. That's all about what we understand around cleanliness. But not only that, it's also important that the products are easy to use, that they are intuitive, and also for everyone, which has a need. So we talk about people of different age, different size, or with different abilities. So the usability is definitely a key criteria as well. And last but not least, the comfort to use the product. Probably the comfort then is very much important as well when we think on the residential bathroom. So in Geberit, we talk about these three key points, and then of course, then behind it there are a lot of subtopics, and then in the end they will be reflect on different features and benefits on our products and systems. Let's talk about a little bit more about touchless. Obviously, this topic has become much more sensitive, or became more attention in the past and recently. So now definitely it's the awareness is higher, and people probably think a bit more about, should I touch this or that area, especially in the public space. But I mean, touchless is definitely here the answer, and it's nothing new. So we know the technology of touchless, so sensing technology. We see it in everyday's life when you think about automatic doors, payment systems, which consumers now use multiple times a day, the famous sanitary dispensers we see. So this technology is widely spread, and we probably unconsciously already have it in use every day in different areas or at different points in our daily journey. And when we talk about the wash place, we focus on the three main areas, which is the WC actuation, the urinal system, and the tap system. So these three key areas are in the focus, and we will see this is going through all the aspects when we talk about the products, then certification of products, as well as building regulations, and all is focusing on these three areas within the washroom. Now, how does it work? So here with a technical sketch to explain how does a WC actuation, a touchless version, really function. So we have different states, and in the state 0, so we have a toilet which unoccupied, and then the sensor is in a low power mode, and it's just monitoring the area. So it's basically on a standby. Then in the first state, when a person is approaching the WC space, then an activation of a distance measuring sensor is activated. So then the system starts to realize, okay, someone will now soon utilize the WC. And then the second state is of course when the WC is used either in a seated or in a standing position, and then the sensor is deactivated to prevent the accidental flushing and as well to reduce the consumption. And after state 2, state 3 follows when then a trigger or a flush is triggered in the standing position after the use, and the touchless sensor is then reactivated. Now here it's also interesting to know there's different settings possible, and also there are different parameters for each of the stages. So we have the user detection range, which is typically between 50 to 60 centimeter. This is depending also on the ceramic. So if you talk about the short projection ceramic, it will have 46 centimeter. Typically, if it's a long projection handicap or for handicap WC, it's up to 70 centimeters. So here this can be adjusted to the right distance. And the manual flush detection range is then definitely on a short range. So we also can activate the flush manually. So here this is between 2 and 10 centimeters to go closer with your hand to the IR sensor. And then the detection range can be adjusted from 60 to 120 centimeter. If we look on the right hand side, we see in a section I'll detail that also the angle can be adjusted from horizontally, let's say from 0 degree to 20 degrees downwards. So here this can be adjusted depending on different colors, surface material, if they are reflecting, for example. So this all has an influence on the functioning of the sensor. With actuator plates which don't have a manual button, also here it's probably not many users know that even here you can have a dual flush use. So for the big flush, that's 1 second. You just put your hand, it will have the big flush. That's actually also the same what will happen if it's automatically flushing. It will always release the big flush. Only consciously you could release also a small flush and holding your hand 3 seconds in front of the sensor to save water when only a small flush is utilized. So infrared plates can flush a dual flush, but probably most of the time it will be the big flush. But I think it's interesting to know that this is possible. So what are the different designs? So there are different designs, different colors, different materials as well available in these solutions. Definitely also depending what type of bathroom it is, as mentioned, from residential to public or semi-public. There are different requirements also on the material. So stainless steel, for example, definitely recommended, even with a screwable lock for a public space. And we see a Sigma 80, for example, which is a very nice high design infrared plate, and a Sigma 10 actuator plate in the center, which comes only with an infrared flush, and then probably the most famous for the public space, which has a manual override. So here, even in case of an electric failure or something, still the WC place works, and you could utilize the manual override. Everything concealed, and then there are 2 different options for the power supply, mains and battery for all the versions. Now here an overview on the different flush controls. So the technology mainly utilized is infrared for touchless automatic, or then touchless automatic with manual override. For the handicap area, there is another technology used, which is the radio technology, or a wired, simply that it's wired. So here we can also utilize a push button on the rail handle, which is then releasing the flush. That's much more practical for a handicap space. As well, there are push buttons either with a radio or a wire as well to position them on the most comfortable area maybe left or on the right hand side of WC to avoid the turning of the back towards the actuation. Sometimes that's preferred solution. The power supply is all around 110 and 240 volts, and it's like these actuator plates are then compatible to different systems. That's a very technical description here, but so there are different type of systems. So it's then also important to see that every actuation then fits to the right system. But Geberit technical advisors are actually really there to do the right specification, or we have an online spec tool which has not an AI artificial intelligence and matches the right products together. So to summarize, WC flush controls, well, touchless WC flush actuation, very easy to clean coating. So nowadays actuator plates, they come with a special coating which prevent bacteria or dirt to remain on the surface. As well on the ceramics, there are now new technologies with special glazing, which are really if you would watch under the microscope, really thin surfaces, which makes the surface really easy to clean. There are adjustable interval flushes, pre-flush function, easy maintenance, which is very important, and as mentioned, main battery versions. Water saving in WC controls, probably one of the important topics. If you think back, we used to have even 12-liter flush from 9 to 6 to nowadays 4.5-liter flush. And here a small example what can be saved. So from 270 cube meter water down to 135, which then in this small example here amounts to 135,000 liters water saving per year in a public use. If you would think 100 times a day over 300 days a year just on one WC, that's quite an impressive number. And if you think how many public toilets there are in use, when we think about the malls, the airports, and really the big commercial spaces. You'll find the efficiency labels on the packagings nowadays as well on sanitary products. You will see a little more later on what exactly is required for our products in terms of water efficiency. When you talk about the next space, the tap system. So here, tap system needs to be really functionally reliable, clean, and secure as well. Infrared will be mainly or almost only in the public space. So it doesn't need to look only good in terms of design. So the trend is really to slim and modern design. So all the technology needs to be outside of the tap. So this is what happened in the past. To create slimmer design, you need to remove a lot of the technology from the housing of the tap to reduce that and to put it somewhere else. So that then also will give additional benefits for the maintenance and the planning if we talk about the complete tap system. Here, obviously, deck mounted or wall mounted solutions available on the market and different, again, supply types like battery and mains. But in the tap system, there is a third option, which is a self-sustaining options. So basically, the water pressure in the supply system is utilized to run a small generator to then charge a battery, which then is utilized for the tap. We will see how that works in a short video clip. So to mention to the generator a little bit, the handicap at the moment, if there is one, is that the minimum flow rate needs to be greater than 3 liters per minute, and it should be utilized at least 20 cycles of 4 seconds a day, so that this generator is sufficiently then powered. And we will see afterwards that this technology at the moment is not complying, unfortunately, with the latest water saving requirements, where we will have a maximum of 1.3 liters per minute. So here again, I think the manufacturers like us are challenged to come up with new technical solutions to save electrical power, to have a self-stem generator, but still saving water in the same time. So here we see how tap systems look like. So it's also a frame, installation frame behind the wall, which has several benefits. So all the technology is out of the housing, so that allows a much slimmer design, and everything is integrated in a concealed box, so it either concealed or also installed out of the wall, but still be below the wash place, so that's very easy to access, to maintain. We'll see a quick clip on the Geberit tap system range, and also the real much more benefits behind this tap solution. Great summary video of the Geberit tap system. So you can see that it's much more than just a slim tap in front of the wall. What comes out of the video is that what we always recommend for the public space is wall-mounted taps. Much more easy to clean. If you think on the basin, it will be flush with the wall, so there is no hidden surface, and also not all the surfaces are very easy accessible, and that's just much more recommended. And then this entire system behind the wall offers so much advantage in terms of robustness of the product. You could see taps are plug and play. So that's why also we came up with an ablution solution where the robustness is one of the key criterias. So you plug the tap into that frame behind the wall, which gives or achieves really the greatest results in terms of strengths and robustness. Then the easy planning. So with an installation frame, you can easily adjust all different taps on the same level. That will, when you think on the building process in the planning and installation process, really simplify. And then in the end, the end result will be much more perfect due to the entire complete solution from behind the wall to then outside the end. In terms of water saving here, I mean, we have different aerators are utilized to save water. That's commonly used. So there are different categories from 5 liters per minute to down to 1.3 liters per minute, and there are then also different technologies in these aerators. So they are simply aerated or swiveling, and then when it goes down to 3.8 to 1.9, 1.3 liters per minute, there a spray is utilized, which is then really reducing the flow rate. Yeah, functionally reliable, clean and secure. That's our Geberit Brenta wash basin tap as well, not only for wash basin, well also for ablution, faucets, and as well then the Piave, which is more in an organic shape as well, deck mounted. Then in terms of urinals, here as well, design is 1 point, distance detection in terms of infrared, different flush adjustments possible, different programs as well possible, even that the urinals will flush in an interval, even there are no users. That can be an option for a larger public area to prevent also bad smell in the space. And here we always recommend to use water flushed urinals. We also have waterless solutions, but our calculations just show that at the end of the year you can save water with a water flushed urinal system compared to a waterless urinal system because of maintenance. There are different solutions with actuator plates on top of the urinals, concealed as well, mains and battery, and then in different designs. And there are solutions where there is a hidden flush control. So here there is a temperature sensor in the trap of the urinal, and then when the temperature is rising above a certain temperature, then the flush is triggered. This solution is not recommended for this region because we don't really have a cold water networks in most public projects or public where we have public spaces, and during summer water, let's say cold water temperature is easily above 30 degrees. So this solution is just recommended for geographical areas where there is really cold water, and then we talk about like 12 degrees Celsius up to 20 degrees Celsius, which is the definition for cold water. We have another urinal system family, Preda, Selva, and Tamina. So here you can see the flush control unit sits below the urinal. This is also multiple advantages if you think on the maintenance. I mean, many urinals we see in public space are closed down due to maintenance, and the great advantage here, all the technology sits below the ceramic. So if you would need to have, or the FM team would need to have access to the drainage system, it can be accessed from the ceramic. So there is no need to remove the ceramic. That's definitely here the main advantage. So it will save a lot of time, and then the urinal system will be in a working state very soon. Ceramic is rimless as well. Here in WCs it's rim free. Urinals it's it's rimless. Very functional, reliable, and clean, secure solution. Talking about water saving, interesting to know that there is a Dubai Demand Side Management DSM 2030. There's also an interesting website with the strategy in place with the aim to reduce the water consumption by 30% by 2030. And already in 2014, the UAE ranked 9th among top nations in adopting new green building practices. This is a high-level overview on the DSD strategy, and we see there are different programs when it comes to energy saving, so not only water but also electricity saving. And what concerns us is P1, the green building regulations in terms of buildings and infrastructures, as well when we talk about the equipment, devices and processes, the P5, the ESMA standards and labels. So these two categories we'll look at a little bit more close. As well, in Saudi Arabia, there is great awareness about water saving. As well, there is a program in place to reduce water consumption from 2020 to 2030. The Qatra program has been launched in 2019. And very interesting to know, Saudi is the world's 3rd largest consumer of water per capita after the US and Canada. That's a part of the Saudi Vision 2030. At Geberit, I mean, as mentioned, a long time ago, we were utilizing 12 liters per flush, and nowadays we are down on 4.5 and 3 liters per flush. So really there has been already a significant reduction of flush volumes since the 1960s. What we see here in the center, well, it's 2010 now. In 2021, we're still on 4.5 and 3 liters, or mainly still especially here in the region, the trend very much changed from 6 and 3 previously to 4.5 and 3 liters. And I think that's again a challenge to further reduce the average daily water usage of a person. So this can be done definitely as well with new products, but of course the product developments, they should not compromise then in the use and the functionality. So that will be really the challenge in the future, how to further reduce water consumption with products and having not a significant compromise in terms of use. That's definitely one thing. And of course, I think one of the main factors is the individual behavior of the users, how many times we open the taps, and I think that's definitely another important subject when it comes to water saving. So product certification versus building certification, we have seen that there are two different topics. So one is the certification of single products with different labels. So for example, the Sasso water efficiency label, the well, which is utilized in KSA, and in the UAE, the ESMA green label, which comes here with a 5-star or a 4-star rating. And there are other labels, maybe more famous in Europe. When it comes to certification of buildings or of entire developments, then of course we talk about LEED, STDAMA, BREEAM, and also FAT, which is more looking into which is looking in a much broader context of the building. So in terms of certification, as mentioned, in Saudi Arabia, we know Sasso with technical regulations for rationalization of water consumptions, the well in place. And here you see from the annex of one of the stands when it comes to the devices. So we have in residential, or not only residential, we look at shower heads, taps and mixers for public with 1.9 liter per minute. Taps and mixers for the private use and for kitchens have a higher allowance of 6 liter per minute. And toilet flush, here we see in Saudi Arabia, the maximum is 4.5 and 3.5 for dual flush and 4.8 liter for single flush. So this is a little bit unique in the industry, because in many countries, like European countries, as well as in the UAE or in other GCC markets, the 6 and 3 liters are allowed. So for Saudi Arabia, that means for a manufacturer, you have to create your market-specific portfolio with products labeled and re-specified, or with technical specifications only for that market. So in Saudi Arabia, it's impossible to import even a system with the deviation in the flush setting. In the UAE, the regulations are different. So here it is possible, if you take the example of the toilet flush tank. So here we see 6 and 4 liters for dual flush is permitted. However, it will result in a 4-star rating, and it also comes at the cost. So there is a fee to pay if there is only a 4-star product, wherever 5-star products are then, if the WC as well, like in Saudi, would be 4.5 and 3 liter for the dual flush. So these products need to be labeled. Again, we talk mainly about shower, public and private toilet, urinals, kitchen mixers, and wash basin taps, and ablution mixers. In terms of green building, so here a quick overview on the most common measuring systems here in the region, from Al Safat over to LEED, Priam, Bajil, and Estidama PRS, which is the Pearl rating system, mandatory or applicable in Abu Dhabi. I think we'll look quickly into more detail into LEED and Estidama, especially LEED, because it's really more and more popular internationally. It started in the US, but definitely now is an international rating system. It looks at 7 different categories, and we see here one of it is water efficiency, and it gives different ratings up from like LEED certified to silver, gold, up to platinum, and then it has a point system, so 35, 40 to 49, up to 80 plus points for platinum. Now we're going to look into water efficiency at this point. And in water efficiency, here again you see the different categories. In water efficiency, you can gain a maximum of 10 points, which is 10% overall. So for example, energy and atmosphere is 35%, and the sustainable sites is 26%. So water efficiency with 10%. So how you can gain these points is with a percentage reduction against the LEED baseline. So if you reduce your percentage of yearly use of water against the baseline by 50%, then you get the maximum points, which are 6 in this case. And in LEED, you find as well for each fixture the required data. So the baseline for LEED toilet flush is 6 liters per flush. So you see in the LEED requirement is still higher as even the SASO requirement for Saudi Arabia. For the urinal, 3.8 liter per flush, and for the public faucets, 1.9 liters per flush. Now, the 6 points, so in total there are 10 points as mentioned, but as we could see, if I go quickly back here, with the reduction of water use, you only can gain 6 points. So the 10 points here, as mentioned, 6 points you get from indoor water use reduction with WCs, urinals, and taps, and then you can get additional points with outdoor water use reduction. So if you capture rainwater for irrigation, here we have a roof drainage system which is called Geberit, which can support to do that because it's much easier to collect water and to transport it to a collection point. And then another 2 points for cooling tower water use. Whereas Geberit, we don't have an influence. And in terms of water metering, there can be as well a point gain. So in terms of Geberit products, we can influence directly or indirectly maximum 7% of the entire points. So the 81 points maximum or 81 plus points for the platinum system. So this is when we talk about lead and bathroom products, it's 6 points. So an example, what needs to be done? So we look at, again, our example from the presentation, a urinal, a tap, and a WC. So we imagine one of each installed. And here we see the capacity. So let's look at the WC. We utilize a 4.5 liter flush. The baseline of lead is 6 liters per flush. And we have an average use per day and unit, which we calculate. So let's say it will be 50 users in that public bathroom. Opening days a year, 340 will give a total consumption per day. In the end, the total consumption per year. And then easily we compare this consumption installed versus the baseline and see here, when we reduce from 6 to 4.5 liter, it is a reduction of 25%. For the tap, we can achieve minus 90% reduction, and for urinal we can achieve minus 73%. So to summarize all together, for then this small project, we could save in the end 95 cube meters. In terms of baseline, it would be 191 allowed here, so 96 difference is 95, which means minus 50% or 50% reduction, which then would give us the maximum points, which is 6 for the LEED building certification. So here again, we see minimum is 20%, which is a prerequisite for LEED certification, and easily you can achieve the 50% with nowadays using standard settings for these 3 different products. In terms of STDAMA, the Pearl rating system here, they have 5 different ratings you can achieve, from 1 pearl up to 5 pearls, and then the system works with credits. So, and you see also it has different categories similar to LEED. They are a little bit different name, but you see here the PW precious water is as well a category. But you see here you can gain more points compared to LEED. So here the maximum you can gain it 43 points of a total of 177 points, and then plus 140 points will give you 5 pearls. All projects in Abu Dhabi need at least 1 pearl, and public and government projects need at least a rating of 2 pearls. And probably in the future this will, could imagine this will be increased, or that requirements will go a little bit up. Because if we see here, if let's focus on the minimum requirements, we see again the same fixtures, taps, private, public, shower head, kitchen, bidet, urinals, and toilet flush. And for example, here in the toilet flush, still 6 and 4 liters for a flushing cycle, full, low, so big flush, small flush is allowed, and that's let's say not the latest what is possible if you think on 4.5 and 3 liters. So that's also not a problem to reach here the full points with Geberit products. But I think it's very easy, again, with this final overview to summarize. It's very easy to think of water saving. Think on the WC. Nowadays standards is 4.5 and 3 liters. If we specify or install these kind of systems, then all the certificates are matched, and in the building and in the current building rating systems, the maximum points can be achieved. For the urinals, the best baseline you can think of is 0.5 liters per flush, and when it comes to the tap, nowadays the benchmark we set is 1.3 liters per minute. So with these three values, you can basically forget all the part which we discussed before, because you will in any case get the full points with these three values. So with this final overview, we're at the end of today's content. I hope it was interesting. So we touched a bit on the criteria from different spaces, went through how the system works a little bit, and then looked at certification, and the end with a quick example in Leeds. I hope it was interesting and helpful. And if there are any questions, then we will take them. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Remo. Once again, very interesting to sit through these sessions. We've had quite a few questions come in actually. So one question, it's quite a hot topic actually. Sustainability. Have Geberit evolved their products or systems to accommodate grey water recycling?
Well, sustainability at Geberit, yeah, it's first of all, that's a very big important topic. You can find on our corporate website our sustainability report. So that starts in the operation with even the design of the product. So eco-friendly design, utilizing less resources for the products itself. So that's less raw materials, but also the logistics of raw materials and the logistics of within Geberit itself, and how we produce products, how much energy we consume, how much water we consume. So that's within Geberit. Sustainability is very high on the corporate agenda. When it comes to grey water use, so here as mentioned, we have a roof drainage system which can benefit to make it easier to utilize grey water. That's one. So collecting the grey water, bring it to a storage. So that's one part where we can contribute. Then of course you have the entire filtering and if you, depending on for what quality of grey water then you want to have. Then in terms of supply, of course, you can supply grey water, utilize it for the public bathroom, for toilet flush, for example. That's possible. I think here the MEP consultant then would need to design the supply system accordingly. You know, you would talk about different networks, and depending on the requirements on the water quality, and also we need to have calculation on the amount of water over a life cycle, and how much grey water you could actually capture. But I mean, in the UAE, water is actually utilized 2 times. So once for within the buildings, and then it's cleared and filtered, and it's utilized for all the irrigation we see in the community. So water is already used here 2 times.
Perfect. Thank you, Remo. A question has come from Hala. With this kind of technology, which is quite impressive, can you tell me which companies or whether this has been installed anywhere and whether there was any outcome?
Which technology specifically? Probably the self-sustainable generator, or is it in general? I mean, well, these systems are installed in many spaces here around the region or worldwide. Geberit products, public flush systems you find in the hotels, airports, malls. I mean, there are thousands of examples. Tap systems as well. urinals, of course. Well, if the question is specific to the self-powered solution, as mentioned here, we have a bit the handicap that we are, for example, in Saudi, not complying with the SASA regulation, because as we could see, the minimum flush is 1.3 liters per flush, and the self-powering unit requires at least 3 liters per minute. So the amount of water which needs to flow through the tap is higher than actually the standard, and we need to consider how many times it will be utilized. So if you have a public bathroom and you know there will be at least 20 cycles for 4 seconds, so you wash your hands and then at least for 4 seconds, 20 times a day, the tap is running, then the solution can be utilized. It's definitely utilized in Europe a lot. Here in the region, we have the issue with that we are the issue. I think it's a good challenge that we are not complying, or that this solution is not working with the building product certification. So we see there will be the future challenge, how to come up with such a nice solution with only utilizing 1.3 liters per minute.
Absolutely. A question saying, how will this presentation be shared? It will be. This whole session is recorded, and once it's shared on the RIBA YouTube channel, you'll be able to access it there. We have a question from Ahmed saying, how can I contact Geberit in the UAE? Perhaps we could share one of your email addresses with the person, and they can get in contact with you.
Well, I can share my mobile number here. Call me. No, we have an email address, sales.gulf@geberit.com, or go to www.international.geberit.com. You will find all our representations globally. So if you need someone in Saudi, you need someone in Egypt, in Qatar, wherever you are, we have our our contacts on the website. But for Dubai, sales.golf@geberit.com.
Perfect. And on that note, we have a question saying, is this model available to see in the showroom?
Yeah, we have here in Design District a decent training center, we call it, where we display tap solutions, the WC actuation, urinals, etc. Yeah, we are in D3 Design District, building 1B, office 702. Welcome anytime from Sunday to Thursday, morning to evening.
Perfect. Another question. I know this question may be somewhat strange, but could I please be provided a source to read up on the IR specifications used by the Geberit systems? I'm currently researching the topic and would like to understand. So they'd like the specifications.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we have a lot of technical information available for every product. That comes a manual. We have technical documentation available. That's all available.
Perfect. Matt, I actually suggest getting in touch with Remo on all the contact details he listed previously. I'm sure they'll be able to help out.
Yeah.
A question from Sandra. Could you run through the aerator options again and recommend when or where they would be best used?
Can you say that again, please?
Could you run through the aerator options again and recommend when or where they might be best used?
The aerator options here. Yeah, so if you're in Saudi Arabia, by standard, you will get a 1.3 liter per minute, nothing else possible. It needs to be there. Otherwise, the standard would be depending on this on what you specify. And by the way, we have a specification department, we have an online spec tool, so our people are very more than happy to help you with specifications. Well, it depends on if you need to comply with, or you want, first of all, you want to save water. Do you have product certificates or certification in place in the country you have a project, and do you have a requirement from the client in terms of building certification? So then you would need to see what are the baselines you need to match, and then accordingly. In the private space, I think like all these solutions will work from 5 liter per minute to 1.3. You will feel definitely a difference. So there comes also the individual perception in place. What is my level of comfort, or I feel comfortable to, if you talk about the wash basin tab, to wash my hands in the ablution area. It may be different. So there is not a straightforward answer. It depends on certain factors, but then to choose what flow rate you wish to, or you require to have. But definitely for the public spaces, I mean, the trend is really going to 1.9, 1.3 liters per minute to save water.
Perfect. Thank you, Remo. And with that, actually, we have one final comment. Huge thanks to RIBA and Geberit for the seminar series. I joined your series since module 1 and it's really helpful, so thank you. That's great. Really, glad to have you on board since series 1. One last question for you, Remo. How does Geberit products compare in relation to price?
Well, how they compare to price, we have from, let's say, the basic, eco basic, mid, upper or luxury segments, different solutions, and different price. Definitely we are competitive on the market, otherwise we wouldn't be a successful company. And we offer, I think the relation between value and price is very much matching. But of course we have now, what we have seen here is a selection of the range. We have also in the tap range, we have different levels of products from higher mid to even to the basic segment that is available. So also depending on the budget, then there are different solutions available. And also in the from urinals, there are so many combinations possible, as well as the WC space. So, but most importantly is I think is value for money.
Perfect. Thank you, Remo. I see that we have no further questions and we have gone ever so slightly over time, so perhaps we can close today's session. So, thank you, Remo, for answering all those questions. Let's go ahead and close up today's session. As I said earlier, today's session, is the 7th online CPD with Geberit for our Gulf audience, as it is in fact, the last session of a 2-year series. So thank you all for attending today's session and all past sessions as well. And of course, a huge thank you to Luis and Remo. It's been a pleasure working with you through this series. I'm sure we'll find a way to pick up and collaborate again, in the next year. And thank you to Geberit for the support in the series as always. Thank you, everyone, and hope to see you all soon.
Thank you.